Welcome to Long Box Diving, where we pull comics out of long box. I'm finally, I'm finally back to doing another X-Factor comic. I've not made one in a very, 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 very long time. I ended up having to buy it digitally because I can't find it and I can't really go out and look for it. So I did have to buy it digital, but I finally got another X-Factor comic because I think like 7 to 12 I don't have. After that, I have some more physicals already. So for right now, I may end up just having to get more in this older run, so that way I can actually continue to talk about it because I'm really enjoying the story. It's just such a fun story. That is centralized around the characters and their drama and their problems, and it's great and I love it. And issue 7 is the one I'm talking about today. It sets up a problem in the beginning, it has some drama in the middle, and then it climaxes with the problem and them fighting the problem, and then they find a way to resolve it, making everything a little bit better, maybe, right? We don't know what the future holds. Their actions may have bad consequences, and I don't know yet because I haven't read the next comics. And that's great, right? That is just great standard story making. You have your A plot, which obstacles, and they have to overcome the obstacles to get the resolution. Great. And then there's a B plot, and the B plot has some problems, and in the case of this story, the B plot is not going away issue by issue. Issue by issue, this is still here, right? From issue 1 to now, the B plot's been here every single time. Great. In fact, I would dare say Scott, Madeline, and Jean, their problem is probably the core of this arc. Oddly enough, and especially with like issue 1 and issue 2, you could tell it was focused on really heavily, almost to the detriment of the comic itself. Because like a lot, like I know people. D's one of them. He's like, I would have preferred more action and less drama, less of the problems and the issues, and more action and stuff. And this comic, like the first one, it was downplayed. But this one, issue 7, issue 7 had a really good conflict and had some action in it, which is solid. It's good, and I'm not to get too spoilery, blah blah blah. This I'm trying to get more review focused instead of just recapping. But yeah, it was definitely good. The conflict was good. We introduced 2 new characters. Who are unique for the mutant universe. Really cool. They have radiation poisoning, so that makes them really unique even for mutants, which is cool. We're introduced some more side characters that may become important in the future. Great. Their conflict was a really neat problem because it's a problem based on what's been set up in the past and the lies that have been set up in the past. Everyone knows who X-Factor is. X-Factor's the mutant hunting organization, right? Well, you have a couple of mutants who, one, are feeling downtrodden because the world is kicking them, right? Everyone is kicking them. The humans, the mutants, even the Morlocks, who are mutants, but they're Morlocks, you know. Everyone is kicking them when they're down. And they're dying. They are poisoned by radiation. Like, the world is going terrible for them. They have no hope. They may as well make their deaths mean something, right? And I get that. Oh my soul, I get that. That is really relatable in a way. It's a way of thought that I understand, right? If I'm gonna die, the world hates me. I may as well make my death important, right? Means something, so at least the world recognizes I existed at all. I get that. And for a couple of mutants who were hated even by their own mutantdom, for them to say, hey, look, we're going to attack X-Factor. They're the ones attacking mutants and stirring up all the troubles against mutants and us, right? We'll die in the process, but at least we'll stop a terrorist organization that is harming mutant kind and making our lives worse, right? Wrong. Because X-Factor is a lie. X-Factor's a lie. They are not hunting mutants, they're helping mutants. They are mutants, right? Everything about them is a flat-out lie. Well, when you have your lie, you now have to work around it in order to keep that lie stable. You have to build a web around it. That's how lies work. If you make one lie, you've got to make a web around it to keep it supported. And so sure enough, when you have a bunch of mutants believing you're a mutant hunter, you have to keep that lie up. But you also have to help the mutants because that's what you want to do. So that was the central conflict, is how do they pretend to be X-Factor and help mutants at the exact same time in a single scenario? How do they do that? And that's like the core of the action here in this comic, which was a great setup because it's built on things already in universe. It's built on problems established in previous comics, which I love. Like, we set things up in earlier issues so we can use them now. It's a great thing. And something else that I really enjoyed, issue 7 is where Jean's and Scott's problem comes to a boiling point. Next issue, there's going to be hell to pay, I tell you. I haven't read it yet. I just know. Jean finds out. Jean's not a telepath anymore, which I found out too late. But yeah, Jean's not a telepath currently. So for her, she found out Scott loves Madeline, right? Not only that, but she's in training with other people, and they end up revealing Scott's married to Madeline. And boy, oh boy, Jean has a problem for being lied to, and rightfully so. Like, not only did she hate herself because Scott was in love with the Phoenix, that's what Jean thought, and so she hated herself for it, but that wasn't even true. Scott was in love with Madeline, which, as far as Jean's aware, is a completely different person. And so that's going to be interesting to see how that develops, because Jean was not thrilled. She still did her job. She still did what she's supposed to, but you can tell, 1, she hated being lied to, 2, she felt betrayed, and 3, she hated herself for no reason. It will be interesting to see if she changes that opinion, because she'll find out Scott was actually married to a clone of Jean. So, X-Men, what can you do? Cheapers. I enjoyed this comic. It was solid writing. There's a lot. There are pages that I think can be kind of just fluff. Panels that are fluff, but I'm okay with that, right? I think there comes a time when you can use that fluff to build for future comics, and I hope that's what they do, and it looks like that's what they're doing, and it doesn't detract from the rest of the story for me, right? It's just adding on to it's adding on to the meat and potatoes of the story, and it's making it better. I think having more is helping it. Now, not too much. If it was just all fluff, that's a problem. But it's not been. None of these comics so far have been just it's all a bunch of pointless stuff. Doesn't really matter. And I haven't felt that way, and it's been good. So I can't wait to get the next one. I can't wait to review it down here because I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'm also thinking about, because I've been on a Doctor Strange kick and I've been on an X Factor kick for a long time. Kind of feeling like I want to get into Excalibur soon. I don't know if I want to do all 80 issues of this X Factor Volume 1 run, because that would be a pain. It's like 89 or something. That would probably take me years at my rate. Years. But yeah, I want to get into Excalibur at some point, because again, it's that mythology stuff that it's kind of related to, sort of tangentially, from what I'm aware. So yeah, that might be something I'll do in a little bit, just to have it up there, because I enjoy reading comics, and a lot of ones I just haven't been able to read. Poor college student. So yeah, that's all I have for this episode. I'll see you next time in the long box.